Yes, so I served in the U.S. Navy for about 10 years, and I was a hospital corpsman and field corpsman, and I was a dental assistant for quite some time as well. So I heard about Trajector when the company was still known as VCP, and we had some friends that my wife had met, and they were telling us about how the my wife's friend, her name is Jane, had told us how her husband James had used your services and was very successful in doing so. And at that time, my wife and I were both disabled vets, but we were only receiving, each of us were only at 10%, and had not really pursued anything else outside of it just because it just seemed to be such a struggle to try to do it on your own without any assistance or any in-depth knowledge about how it all works and what was going to be needed, what it was going to take, and things of that nature. So when they alerted us to VCP, we reached out to VCP, and my wife very quickly received her 100% compensation, probably within less than 2 months, which was, I mean, we were just shocked and we were floored by the how quickly it happened, and how easy it was to do, and how helpful VCP or Trajector was with the whole process. And then I received my 10. I went up to 50%, also in a matter of 30 days, very quickly as well. And then I kind of didn't pursue any further after that. I just kind of got caught up in life and what have you. And then I continued to have ailments and stuff that bothered me with my health, was that I knew was service related. So then I did another reach out to Trajector, and they had also told us that, yeah, we'd be happy to help you again. So I pursued that, and within 2 months, now I'm currently at 80%. So I received another bump, and I still have claims in process that they're waiting to do some more examinations on. So my hope, of course, is to hopefully get to 100%, because I think I certainly warrant that just based on a lot of the health ailments and some of the struggles that I have physically. I just got my 80% rating last week, but already, just for me, it's been, we look at it as a blessing, of course. But along with that, we just look at it as financial security for us in the future, because I know with some of the struggles that I have for me physically, I won't be able to work for a long, long time, just kind of based on my back and my knees and some other things. Also, my mental health has taken a toll as well. So I know for me, being in the workforce or the regular workforce is not always going to be guaranteed, not only because of my age, but because of some of the things that I struggle with. So knowing that I am going to have my compensation due to my disabilities is very self-assuring, and gives us a sense of security going forward as we kind of settled into the latter part of our years. So yeah, so we look at it as again, just a kind of a security blanket, and something that we both feel, we deserve, of course. But at the same time, it wouldn't have been possible without the help of Trajector, for sure. We actually have helped another couple from our church, and they are much more senior in their years. And he was in the Vietnam War, so he was a Vietnam vet. And for many years, he's kind of struggled with some respiratory type issues and some cardio type issues and stuff like that. And a little bit of, I think, mental health also played into it. And so we helped them, and I had to help them quite a bit, even to the point of going over and helping them fill out the application and checking things. At the time, Trajector was very helpful in walking them through the process, but to physically do it, many seniors kind of struggle with technology these days. So we were more than happy to go over there and set aside some time and help them, enter things and look, how do you check your disability? And so, yeah, it was a very rewarding process for us, because I felt like since somebody had done the favor for me and for my wife, we were happy to return the favor back. And I'm also going to refer my sister-in-law, who she served also in the U.S. Navy as a dental tech for 20 years as well. So we're trying to get her connected to VCP as well, or Trajector, I should say. So yeah, so we're excited about that too. And she certainly needs the help, because she's a bit of a procrastinator. So I think her just seeing how easy the process is, and that the help is there, and that you guys are there to kind of assist every step of the way, checking in, um, asking the right questions, encouraging, and that conversation. I think that a lot of people are kind of afraid to have and talk about whether or not they feel like they are justified in maybe going after, funds that are certainly due to them because of what we have sacrificed, for the call of duty. It's hard when
And
you don't
also,
feel like you have someone that's helping you, or you don't feel like you have a resource that is knowledgeable, because you feel like you're just submitting something and you're never going to hear anything. And that was certainly kind of our initial perspective until we heard the experience that my wife's friend had had and her husband. And that encouraged us to then get connected to you guys. I think just to know that another veteran trusts another third party, right, with their benefits and, like you're saying, with their money or what have you, but to hear it firsthand and then to actually see it, I think that makes all the difference in the world, and when it happens rather quickly, I mean, it only happens at the speed of which obviously the VA is willing to work at, but I think what increases that process or the timing of that process is the knowledge that Trajector has to help us with filling out those claims and what are the correct type of verbiage to put in there that are going to directly link what ailments or struggles you may have or disabilities you might have with what you experience, or that could be service connected or service related. And to me, that's the kind of golden ticket, because as veterans, we know what we went through, but it's very hard for us to put into words from a medical perspective unless you have that sort of training. And I mean, I've been in healthcare my professional career for over 25 years, but I didn't have the wherewithals to kind of even know how to put that into a claim so that the VA was going to take it and not stall, or send it back to say, can you give us another example? Can you show us more evidence? Because when it's all written up correctly, there's no reason for them to slow down the process or second guess the process. And I think that gives the veteran confidence in using those services by Trajector. And kind of going back to your other question, if I may, you had asked, what has happened, or what was maybe the reason that I went back to Trajector. For me, I had actually been laid off from my job back in May. And I thought to myself, I have nothing but time ahead of me. And, while I'm looking for a job, I might as well also be working on what could potentially be some more additional income that is going to help me feel more financially secure now that I have the time to dedicate to going to these appointments and filling out what it is that needs to be completed, and following my claim and checking with VA and logging in and making sure that everything is there. And so it was very nice to kind of see that come back to me as well, because I did get another job, of course, and I'm working now full time. But it was nice just to know or have the sense of confidence or security that if I didn't, I was still going to experience some additional income that was going to come into our household because of the help of Trajector. So I'll give you kind of my perspective before and my perspective now. Before, when you think about 5 times of what increase you might get, that might seem like a very high fee. But when you really think about it, that's really only 5 months of what you would be getting in return, that you're going to turn around and pay for a service that is now going to reward you that sort of compensation and financial income for the rest of your life. So to me, it was a very easy trade-off. Initially, when I went through the process with VCP, you guys had very limited payment plans. I was in a very good position myself to go ahead and see, okay, well, how can I make this work? And I was able to make it work for myself based on the payment and then also the back pay that you get too. So if you plan it correctly from a financial standpoint based on your monthly income, and you don't count that income into your household until you paid the service fee, it's not a big deal. But this time around, I noticed that you guys had actually quite a few payment plans that were non-interest or no interest attached, and so that made it even much easier to kind of start paying it back. And so it's kind of the same thing. I'm going to do the exact same thing with the back pay that I get, then start making my payments and then pay you guys, what you guys are due for, the amount of help that you guys get. I mean, I consider the fee very small in comparison to what you're gaining on the other side.